Dennis.
And Bill, Lieutenant Kraft with Kern County Sheriff's Department will be a call-in.
Okay, I have a number down here in the corner. That's probably him.
Okay.
448.
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, he's here. Okay. Okay. Let me see if I can find out where Dennis is at.
I see John is on twice here, huh?
One for the camera.
Ah.
And in case one goes bad, I can switch to the other one quickly.
John has to always be two places at one time, you know.
Yeah, but he's in the same place 2 times.
That's even a better trick.
Okay, I'm going to put my emergency laptop away.
A bunch of those now. Every time my brother's computers go bad, he sends me, and then I rebuild them, and then I got tons of computers laying around now.
Well, that's always one of the computer technicians' worst situations to have to deal with, is trying to troubleshoot and help a family member fix their computer either online or by telephone.
Yep. Well, I do a lot of quick assist.
Okay, I'm hoping that Dennis will join us here in a bit. I've got a text message over to him. Hopefully he will catch up with us. Then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order, because I believe I have enough for a quorum. Okay, Vice Chairman Brendan Riley is here. Donna Morris is here. Tim Blakely is here. Lisa Sanchez is here. Shanine McArdle is here. And we're just waiting on Dennis. And in front of the whole council, I'm glad that you're with us online here, Shanine. We're glad to have you with us and stuff, and have your participation.
Thank you. I'm glad to participate and be back.
Okay. Need to adopt, excuse me. I should have called the meeting to order. The meeting is 7:10. And 16 attendees at this one. Let's go ahead and do the flag salute. Okay, we ready? I pledge
allegiance to the flag,
the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all.
Okay. Have the directors had an opportunity to look at the agenda? Did we find it to be acceptable?
Yes.
Yes. We have a motion to adopt the agenda.
A motion.
I'll second.
Brendan second, and who was the one that made the motion?
Tim.
Tim? Okay. Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Approval of the minutes for the February 18, 2021 meeting. I want to apologize. I had my immunization, my second immunization on Monday, and I have been out of sorts until today. I was even surprised I was able to make it up to Mojave, as a matter of fact, to see you yesterday, Laura. I actually felt good at that little window, but then when I got home, I felt bad, and then my wife got sick, so
Oh,
it was
no.
really a lot of fun.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, I'm glad you had a little window where we could meet real quick. That was great. Thank you for meeting halfway.
Alrighty. Anyway, let's go ahead and move into approval of the minutes. I asked a couple of directors to take a look at the video presentation for the minutes, and then we'll follow it up with a hard copy when I get a chance. Anyone willing to make a motion to adopt the meeting minutes that they viewed?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay. Thank you, Tim. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Okay. I think what we're going to do, Laura, pending your concurrence, I think we're going to go ahead and move right directly to the guest speaker.
I think that's an excellent idea.
Okay. That way, it'll give Dennis a little bit of time to perhaps catch up with us. Okay, Cynthia, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you. It's an honor to be here this evening. Thank you very much for inviting me. With COVID, I haven't had an opportunity to visit very often in East Kern, and it's great to have a chance tonight to see you. For those that don't know me, I've been a prosecutor at the Kern County DA's office for 36 years. And in 2018, I ran for election to be the district attorney. I was elected in June of 2018, and I took office in 2019 in January. And so I've been in office 2 years. I'm halfway through my 4-year term. And I think I've had some successes, or my office has had some successes, and we've really had some challenges as well as things begin to change in our world more and more in a different direction with regard to public safety. I had some priorities when I came into office. The first was to reduce violent crime. And in 2019, we had a newly formulated homicide unit at the DA's office. We tried more homicides than we ever had before. We got more first-degree murder convictions than we ever had before. And in 2019, it was the first time that in over 5 years that homicides went down. Countywide, homicides went down because we find a lot of our homicides are done by recidivists or gang members who, once they kill, they will kill again. So we were extremely happy because we do have, Kern County has the dubious distinction of having the highest homicide rate per capita in the state of California, which in 2018, I believe, was 11.1 homicides per 100,000. And so that's really high. It's higher than Los Angeles. And so we were able to bring that homicide rate down, or it came down. We hope we had a part of that. And then the pandemic hit. In 2020, the pandemic has had a really negative effect on public safety in so many ways and for so many reasons. It can go over those reasons of what we think, but, kids aren't in school. The governor released nearly 30,000 inmates law enforcement was hit with COVID themselves and they weren't out doing proactive policing. People, were pent up and, different things. So we had a lot of homicides in 2020. Just to give you some examples about Rosamond, in 2018, there were 2 homicides in the Rosamond area. In 2019, there were 0. Wonderful. And 2020, there were 4. So that's, for your size of community, that's a double increased in 2 years. And in 2021, in the first 2 months of January, February, we've already had 2. So that's a concern. But we are going to continue to concentrate on violent crime, specifically violent crime, meaning homicides and sex crimes. We've been able to do a lot because we have aggressive prosecutors, we have a progressive crime lab, and we've gotten some difficult convictions in major cases. There was a case that I think that I've talked to many of you about that I was fortunate enough to do. It was a cold case homicide that I got a first-degree murder conviction on in 2019, and that was the lady that was killed in 2001 at the McDonald's in Rosamond by 2 LA gang members. So that was a good result, and very pleased about what happened in that case. We have some other cases that are pending in court right now, high-profile cases from Rosamond. There is the Bennett case that happened just January 7th of 2021, where there was a kidnapping case. The Danielian case that happened in October of 20. It was the murder in Rosamond. That case was solved because of door ring cameras. You have no idea how technology and videotaping is helping us solve crimes. With videotape proprietary video in stores, and also people's ring cameras have just really been tremendous, and we use those in court. We were able to solve it that way. The Perez case, we got a first-degree murder conviction for the murder of Kyle Ramirez, and that was a Rosamond case, and the defendant was sentenced to 25 years to life. And there was a case that there actually was a murder case that we were not successful. That was a Rosamond case. That was an acquittal in which a woman named Lila Rosima was prosecuted for the murder of her husband. And she was acquitted in 2020. And it was a kind of a complicated case where the doctors first ruled it a homicide. And then later on, the husband admitted to the killing, but then he claimed it was a false confession. So that was kind of a disappointing, but kind of an interesting case with a lot of twists and turns. We also have formed a crimes against peace officer unit. Officer-involved shootings in this country are going down, but what's going up is crimes against peace officers. So we have formed a crimes against peace officer unit, and we prosecute those cases. We never had a unit before like that. I made a commitment that I would beef up the staffing in our regional courts, and I have done that in Mojave and Ridgecrest, and I'm very proud of that, and we're having a lot better results. We send qualified prosecutors out to those areas. I hired someone specially that had nearly 30 years experience for Mojave, where your Rosamond cases go. His name's Greg Kohler, and he loves his job, and law enforcement is very happy with him. And then I'm also trying very hard to inform the public of the good work of our office, the good work of law enforcement. And we do that, and I hope it gets out to East Kern, but we do a lot of press releases. I do a lot of interviews. We have Facebook, social media. We have now a public information officer that we never had before, because we're really trying to be transparent excuse me, of the work we do. A lot of people don't even know what a DA is. Excuse me. They always think that we're defense attorneys, and they talk to us about getting the guy off. And it's like, no, that's not what we do. We are advocates for victims, and we seek justice for victims of crime and for the community. So we also I changed the way we do the use of force review. And we've had 14 use of force, meaning when law enforcement officers shoot or use force against someone and it results in great bodily injury or death. And that's been an issue that's been the subject of great debate in recent years. And also it probably cost the DA her job in Los Angeles County. and I'm going to talk to you about that. But we had a lot of officer-involved shootings in Kern County this year, many of them in East Kern, many of them. And so what happens is the law enforcement will do an investigation of those cases, and then they come to me for review to determine whether the officer acted under the law. And if he didn't, then we can charge criminal charges on that. But we have a very good staff that we have sent people to the best schools in the country in order to make sure that we look at the cases fairly and do them quickly, because when an officer shoots someone and kills them, they go off work, and it's very, very stressful for them. So we try to look at the case thoroughly, independently, and to make sure that the community has confidence in what we do. We had some challenges this year. I didn't hear of many cases in Rosamond that were facing this, but the summer of civil unrest, shall we call it, starting with the George Floyd case in June or the end of May back in Minnesota, and then some of the protests that we had and groups that came out of that. They've been quite active in Bakersfield. In some, I think there were some protests of the major group was Black Lives Matter up in Tehachapi. And so there were 51 prosecutions that came out of the summer and then continuing until the time of the November election. A lot of conflict between groups, a lot of attacks on police officers, some attacks on the protesters themselves by other citizens. So that is a challenge. Some of those cases have settled, and then we're moving through the criminal justice system. A lot of politicians, a lot of DAs, shall we say, throughout the country really kind of tried to weigh in on the George Floyd case. I didn't, because I don't know all the facts and render opinions. And we did try to get blackmailed by, I have to call it blackmailed, by a civil attorney out of Oakland. We had a situation in Bakersfield where a protester was run over by someone that was driving a car, but the protester apparently was on drugs and stepped out, not in a crosswalk, and so forth. It looked like it was an accident. But Black Lives Matter was involved, Antifa, that type groups, and an attorney from Oakland called me and said that if I didn't file charges against that driver, that he would come down here with his party and basically burn our city. So we were threatened. Our receptionists were threatened by callers. It was really a difficult time. Our employees were afraid. We had to evacuate our building every day, an hour or two ahead of time if there was a planned protest. We had to be escorted to our cars. There were gunmen on our roof. The sheriff's department took really good care of us. But that was a trying time, and I want you to know that I did not buckle to any of it. I wrote an op-ed piece about the man that tried to blackmail us from Oakland and threaten us, and we had to do what was right. We looked at each case independently and followed the law, and never weighed in on some of these cases if it's not something that didn't have to do with Kern County. I do believe there is a battle right now for the criminal justice system, and it is waging war right to the south of us. There is a man named George Gascon who was elected in Los Angeles County because of his anti-police position, and specifically by saying he thinks that there should be further what they call criminal justice reform. And on the day that he was sworn in, which was December 7th of 2020, he put out many directives. And I couldn't be more the opposite in my views than George Gascon, and it causes me grave concern because Kern County borders Los Angeles County, and some of the things that he is doing will affect Kern County and it will endanger our citizens.
What?
Is that someone that was on the call?
Somebody said somehow, because there was a text comment that was inappropriate that I know John Joyce didn't make.
Yeah, we're trying to isolate and get them out of there.
Okay,
Yeah,
should I keep going? It's okay. He's a hacker, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
ma'am.
it's the Hackin feed.
With a fake British accent?
Yeah. Islamic fake British accent.
Oh, okay. But the effect that George Gascon may have in his policies will certainly affect Kern County, particularly Rosamond, that is 3 miles over the border of Los Angeles County. And some of the things that there are 58 counties in California, and there are 4 counties that have what they call themselves progressive DAs. We call them
Nobody cares for.
Okay.
you
I'm
know,
trying
you don't, whoever you are, you don't intimidate me because you have to hide behind what you're doing. So
I'm not trying to intimidate you, you little cunt. Why would I try to intimidate you? Come little bitch. Come arrest me, little whore.
should I keep going, Mr. Parkman? Can you get him off?
I'm trying to get him up.
Yeah,
He's
these are
jumping
good.
around and
Yeah,
using
good.
people's names. I'm trying to.
I believe that we should actually end the meeting and resend out another.
Cynthia, I'm going to come on a
It's
picture
going
of
to
you and there's nothing
continue.
you can do about it.
So we need to get a whole new ID and password
Yeah.
and send
Okay.
it out privately from now on, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do a redo.
Okay. Looks like we're going to adjourn the meeting. Cynthia, I don't know if we can get this back online.
She left, old man.
Everyone go ahead and sign off.
Bye, faggots. Ha ha.
John, are you still online?
Yeah, are you not gonna? We're gonna close down totally.
I don't know how quickly I can get another meeting set up. It's someone that's picked up the meeting ID and the passcode from our meeting, our agenda and stuff like that. So
Okay.
it's compromised. I have to replace it. I don't think I can do that and then communicate that strictly to our people and be able to.
Well, you could send out an email back to everybody.
What's that, John?
I say you could send an email out to everybody with the new stuff on it. I'll wait 15 minutes and then try to get back on.
Yeah, I'll see what we can do with that.
Okay.
I'm going to talk to Zim about it.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, you'll be in the email, John.
Okay.